Conventions. Hello. Conventions is what we are going to be talking about for this session, and it comes from Blesh from StreamTunes, supporting this entire community right now via a sponsorship and also a very awesome product. And they said, hey, Mastermind Chat, wanted to get all of your opinions on TwitchCon. How have you been? Are you planning on going? Do you see any benefits or have you been going? We applied to be a vendor and are calculating the costs. Probably going to be a 10 to 15K investment if we do it, including travel. Mike and I are in Canada. Cool. So I am going to break down conventions for not only vendors, but also for streamers and also for just convention goers, because I have been all three. I am, as some context, I used to do about 30 conventions a year from 2015 to 2018-ish, 2019-ish. I would be gone about every 2 weeks to SWSX, South by Southwest, TwitchCon, you name it. I've been to everything, over and over and over again. All of the PAXs, everything. I've been a guest speaker at many of them, so I have a ton of convention experience. I can really answer this question. And I am going to give you the sum of it right now, with many exceptions. So stay tuned for the whole video. It is my opinion that conventions are largely, almost entirely, a waste of time. A complete waste of time. For the vast majority of people, conventions will not help you in the way that you think they will. For the people who use them correctly, they will be very powerful. And that is what we are going to get into today. So let's start talking about some of the things that I think people will assume about conventions that I'm going to kind of break down. And then I'll tell you some things that I think people miss that are actually things that happen. So let's say that you are an influencer. Let's start there. You will not grow your brand here, nor will you meet. You will not meet other streamers you can meaningfully collab with. So why is that? Well, broadcasters tend to stay in focused groups. If you're a small influencer, it's really difficult to get in with like Soda Poppin or XQC. Like they're very gated. They kind of do their own thing with their own group. And they are everybody at a convention who is a broadcaster of a significant size is trying to actively stop orbiters, right? They actively. It's like meeting a girl in the gym, okay? Right? You don't want to like. In my opinion, it's not a good place to talk to a girl. Like she's working out, she's already like not wearing a lot of clothes. Like it's just not a good. Like she's doing something else, right? In the same exact way, broadcasters are at a convention to meet with other broadcasters their size or just to chill out. Like none of the top streamers are there for networking. Nobody thinks like that. So you're going in like kind of trying to make an apple into an orange, if that makes sense. That's the feel there. It's like just coming from like I've always been in those crowds with those broadcasters, and there's never like smaller streamers there. There's never people that are like 50 viewer streamers ever in those crowds. They don't get invited to the VIP events. They don't go to like the same places. They literally don't even know where those people are. You might run into XQC, but you'll run into him as a fan. You won't run into him as like a networking opportunity. And that's also the case with like even 3,000 to 5,000 concurrent viewers, streamers, or whatever. But let's say you do meet one and you do end up talking to them and you do make a collab opportunity. You won't follow up on it, or they won't, right? Like, and even if you do, what will it look like? Like, will it be like one stream together or whatnot? There just won't be a follow up there. So, but you will not grow your brand here. What I mean by that is, you aren't going to do anything there that's going to like get you more followers or like grow your content creation in any like meaningful way. Now, again, I'm going to provide some exceptions to this later, so definitely stay tuned. Okay, I just want to like really put this out there. So let's say that you are a brand or a company. Okay, so in the case of StreamTunes and Blesh, right? You will not meet brands, and you will not get networking opportunities mostly. So, at both Dignitas and CLG, I ran booths at many different events. So PAXs and South by Southwest gaming. I think I ran a booth there. We paid like sometimes up to like $20,000, $30,000 for a spot. Let me tell you what actually kills as a brand or company at conventions as a pro. If you are running product, it is the single best decision you can make to increase your revenue. So product is amazing at conventions. If you're like even a apparel, anything. If you sell anything physical and you run a booth, it's worth it. Like it's 100% worth it. There are entire businesses like MetaThreads that have been built off of this concept. So boothing at events works really, really well if you sell something. If you are gonna get a booth to just promote a service or feature a game or anything like that, like in a lot of the packs, there's a lot of indie sections that have like indie games, things like that. Do not waste your time with this. If you are selling a service or you're selling a game or something like that, it is almost 100% not worth it. The exception would be like an EA Games or like an Activision that has a booth just because they have to have the presence. But even they are taking that at a complete loss, right? Like a game like Cyberpunk that could like have a theater experience which features it, and it in of itself is going to be a marketing event, which they'll hire like an agency to do. That is going to be worth it for those companies. For anybody that is doing like indie games or is doing some kind of service that's like below the hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollar mark, you do not want to run a booth. And I would argue, like, and I have made this argument to a lot of bigger brands, that having a booth, even as one of those AAA organizations, may not be worth it. You've seen a lot of those organizations pull out of events, not just because of COVID, but just in general before, like we're pulling out of E3 and such things. So if you are running product as a brand and a company, it is an awesome thing to do. If you're not running product, don't do a booth. Don't do a booth. We've done both running apparel, and we've also run physical product. I've also partnered with people that have done games, and they've sold really well. So like retro games. Also, even just like health supplements, like G Fuel. Like we had a booth for an energy drink. I'm trying to remember. This is like years ago. Sold really, really well. So that kind of stuff, very, very good. Okay, let's keep going. So I just want to like do a brief section about networking that applies to everybody. So networking is a meme. Networking is a meme. What do I mean by that? Networking is not a thing. When everybody that goes to conventions, they talk about networking as if they will come, and I'll full screen for this. Like they will come back from this convention and they will have a here's what will happen, okay? Because I've done this dozens and dozens of times, okay? You will come back and you will have handed out your business cards to maybe 100 people, maybe more, and you will have a stack of business cards. And you will follow up with them, maybe, right? Even if you go to that next step, realize that a lot of people never even accomplish that. They don't even follow up. Like they just, the business cards sit on their desk. But I did follow up a lot of the time. Sometimes I didn't, and I lost those contacts with those people. I want to tell you the number of deals and the number of revenue that I have made, again, after going to 30 conventions every year from 2015 to 2018, okay? Here's the number right here. It's fucking $0. I never, ever got a meaningful deal that came out of a convention that actually went to close. I've had many phone calls, I've had many things go, but it doesn't go to close. It never goes to close. Here's what goes to close. You outbound email a person with your ask and to a brand, and you say, hey, here is what I have, here's my service, here's how it provides value to you, here's how much it costs, let's jump on a phone call. What do you think? And you do that 100 times, okay? And that's how you build a business. That you don't build a business by going to conventions and networking and all that bullshit. That's not a thing. I'll give you an example of a literal story. So I was lucky enough to be at a VIP party. This is earlier in my career, and I met the head at the time of NVIDIA, which is an enormous opportunity, right, for an esports team. Like imagine getting sponsored by that. So this guy is drunk. They're like, everybody's drunk, by the way. At these conventions, they're just drinking, and just I want to echo how many of these people, not all of them, but so many of these big streamers and these people that are in positions of power, they're there because their company is paying for them to be there. They're drinking at parties, they're chilling, they're talking to girls. They're not interested in like your mindset right now. You gotta remember who you are, right? You're listening to a fucking Devin Nash video. That means you're getting after it. Like you're a person who, and for that matter, you're 10 minutes into a Devin Nash video. That means you're really into it, okay? So you're listening to this whole video because you want to get better. You want to improve yourself. Like I wanted to improve myself and still do. You have that constant drive. These people don't have that. They're getting paid by their company to be there, and they are to talk to girls, to drink, and to pursue opportunities, right? But they're not really doing that. They're not interested in this. There are a few exceptions, like there are some people that really get after it. I know a couple of them, right? For example, some of the people from Corsair, like that team, they're on it, right? They're led by a very powerful and smart woman, named Lauren. Who, but like that's a really rare exception. So I met the head of NVIDIA at this party, right? And like gave him the whole pitch, had the elevator pitch, had everything. He's like, oh yeah, great, like sure, like send me an email, whatever, right? It goes nowhere, right? Like email never gets responded to, whatever. That's the vast majority of your interactions at these places. Now look, like you might be the exception, you might network, you might get an opportunity, and you might close a deal. But here's the thing you're giving up, okay? And this is like just back to the notepad now. Just kind of want to talk about like the networking thing. It will cost you to go to this convention a lot of money, time, travel, and sickness, possibly, right? I'm very afraid of sickness as an executive because it can knock me out for a week or two and completely, and I can't do anything. And like a week or two in the business world is like horrible. like in the agency world is like really scary. But in any world, it's scary. It's scary as a streamer. It's scary anywhere, right? So you are vastly increasing your chance of getting sick. And you are also putting a ton of time and travel into going to a convention where you could be working, right? And that's the thing is like, let me just like ask you a practical question, okay? Will you make more of an impact going to a convention, and let's say you can meet 100 people. Let's say you can meet 1,000 people, okay? Like you won't meet 1,000 people. Let's say you can make 1,000 people and make an impact on them. And you understand how hard that is, right? Or you can make one YouTube video or 3 YouTube videos in that amount of time and not get sick, right? Or 5 YouTube videos and 2 TikToks and 1 Instagram post. And you can tweet too. Yeah, it doesn't take too long, right? But you do all kinds of stuff. And in that moment, you will impact way more people. But because don't think that just because in person, like maybe if you have like a life-changing conversation with somebody, but like again, in my own experience, I have had those life-changing conversations with people at conventions, and those people have already been people who are my friends that I met online. That I strengthened those relationships through conventions, but never built them. I can't think of a single close friend that I didn't meet somewhere else that I met at a convention that stuck with me. It just doesn't happen. What does happen is a lot of my very close friends that I like to run into, like Zizarin, for example, I'll go to a TwitchCon and I'll run into him, and that'll be nice. But it's not a business opportunity. It's just cool to see him, right? I'll run into some of the broadcasters that I haven't seen in a while. That'd be nice, right? Or I don't know, like that's like that kind of stuff. But I'm like really trying to like rack my brain. Like, is there any relationship that I built and developed out of a convention that was like really deep and meaningful? No, because those people and you are meeting hundreds and hundreds of people in like you have 3 days, very little sleep. You're just gonna be in a whirlwind. Maybe there is one exception, and that would be John Howell is the head of partnerships. I got extremely lucky. That was like 2012. He was the person that partnered me, and we ended up having a good relationship. And I did meet him at a convention. So there you go. There's one. That was like complete luck, and that was at a time when Twitch was like a fledgling company that and like you would not have access. Like I mean, the head of partnerships was just standing around, right? You would not have that same kind of access or luck at this point. So it's different now. But yeah, you could still meet somebody. Anyway, so I'm ranting. So let's go back to the value. Okay, so it will take you a lot of time to get to a convention, and you will probably not get a lot out of it that you couldn't otherwise do via outbound or via contacting people directly. People are so afraid of outbound. They think that you need to go to a convention. This is like the most important thing I'm going to tell you, like maybe ever, right? You're so afraid of outbound. You're so afraid of reaching out and asking people questions. And I don't get it. Like that's the failing of so many people and so many businesses is you won't just send an email to every brand you can think of. Three brands a day, 2 brands a day, 1 brand a day will change your company forever. Or change you as an influencer forever by getting a sponsor, whatever. Just 1 or 2 asks a day to whoever. And being able to be told no, you think it's going to be different at a convention. It won't be different. You will be in front of hundreds of people. They'll flash impressions everywhere, and you won't remember anything. It'll just be some fragments of stuff you walk away with. Bam, like waste of your time, a complete waste of time that you could just spend asking people directly online. and then developing those relationships via actual value, right? Instead of, hey, you're at a convention, I'm at a convention, let's network. Like, where's the value there? Let's network, right? Like, how about, hey, here's my product, here's my service, here's what you do. Like, here's the value we can exchange. Let's work together, right? Like, you can make that same discussion at a convention, but you're going to do it when they're inundated by alcohol, not in the mindset to work, and have already heard that same pitch from 1,000 people. so there you go, right? They're not going to be at work looking for those opportunities, checking their email. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things, the exceptions, and some pros of going to conventions. One thing I will say is you will get motivated. This is cool, actually. I don't think it's worth going to conventions for, but it's neat. Every time that I have gone to a TwitchCon or like a YouTube convention or like a PAX, I'm like, I want to work. Part of that is because I've been out for a week and I want to go back to work because it's driving me crazy that I'm not working. Okay, but another part of it is that I just want to work. Like you're around people who are motivated, who are jamming, who are doing what you're doing, and it's cool. It's exciting, and like I do think you should get out to one of those every once in a while because like it's really nice to like meet with and get the feeling of being with other people. But the longer I advanced in my career, the more that I like super just like went to conventions to like just jam on the work. Like so keep in mind the 30 conventions I went to like from 2015 to like 2017 were like probably like a total waste of time. And then the year after that, I was just running booths and just running product. It was great, right? Because we feasibly made, after like the first 2 booths that we ran out and we figured out like the problems and everything, we made money every booth that we went to. Like the company made money, so I was working and like I would hire people and I would volunteer people. And by the way, just a quick in for any brand that's listening to this or anybody that's going to push product at a convention, hire all women for your booths. Okay, I will tell you a story. Okay, I'm not being sexist. This is empirical. Okay, like I'm pretty charismatic guy. I would stand in front of booths, and one day at CLG, this is when I learned this. There was a player there with a cute girlfriend, and the cute girlfriend was just hanging out. She's sitting on a table on her phone. And I made a joke. I was like, "Hey, sell product. Like, you want to sit on the side of the booth? You got to work here. You know." I'm just being a dickhead, right? And she's like, "Okay, yeah, sure," and just kind of like starts joking around. And all of a sudden, like, there's just a crowd of dudes buying stuff from her, and I'm like, wait, what? Like what's going on? So previously it's all dudes. Like mostly the esports industry is dudes. This is a huge problem I talk about, right? We do hire women if I can, but mostly the place is just dudes. So the next booth that I ran, but it wasn't too long after that. It was like maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I hired groups of people. There turns out there's these kind of actor type people who you can hire on a day-by-day basis. For not that much money. It's like $60 to $100 a day. And you tell them about your product and they're just beautiful people who like will like call out to people and shout out people. And you've probably seen them at like conventions and stuff like that. It like quadrupled my freaking sales overnight. Like that was all like it was unbelievable. Like the amount that you push product when you have like anyway, just an aside. Women at booths sell very well to everybody, women and men. So that's something you could think about. But pushing product, yeah. So the I pushed product all through 2018, 2019. It was very worth it to go to conventions because I was pushing product. Before that, waste of time. Nothing ever happened. By the way, if you have a central booth and you're pushing product, more people want to talk to you because you're in the business and people feel like you're doing stuff and you're doing good. So you will get motivated, and that's an awesome feeling. And going out to like one convention a year just to get motivated is kind of cool. Get ideas, you know. There's like a subjective value to that's important. That even I'm underestimating. Just be, but I mean, man, I just prefer to do the work. You know, I just want to like be there and do the work. Okay. So you will get motivated. Also, some exceptions to this rule. So like, where is it that you can meet in person and you get a lot out of it? Highly focused masterminds. So I have spent up to $5,000 for going out to, that's just a ticket price, to go to Tony Robbins events and to go to personal development events. And they have always been worth it. Oh my God. Like, Unleash the Power Within, which I think is like a $300 or $400 ticket, is like a 3-day, 10-hour a day, like personal development thing that I just can't recommend enough. You do crazy shit. You walk on fire, you burn stuff, you get super soakers and shoot rooms of people, pour water on yourself, hug strangers. It's amazing. It's not for everybody, but it's insane. The mastermind sessions for like highly focused business sessions, I've probably spent tens of thousands of dollars on mastermind sessions. And I can say with confidence that going out to a mastermind session, doing all the travel, and then it's going to a real one with like a real focused individual who is really going to give you data. And I mean, like, you look around the stadium and you look around the crowd, there's about 2,000 or 3,000 people there, and everybody has notebooks, and they're writing hard. And you get a workbook. Many of these times, they gave me a workbook that I still have that I have to work through when I'm there, like homework, like the whole night. I'm not talking about motivational speeches. I'm not talking about people that are like up there, like you can do it type of people. There's plenty of those. You'll waste your time at those. I'm talking about focused masterminds where you know what you're going to get when you go in. They say it costs this amount of money, and here's what I'm going to teach you. The $5,000 ticket said you will it guaranteed me that or my money back. I will walk away from that mastermind with $1 million worth of the knowledge and ability to scale my business $1 million from where it's at. That was the guarantee. Or your money back. You literally could just go up to the front desk and say, I didn't feel like I got this guarantee, and they give you your money back, no questions asked. I did not take my money back. I 100% got that value out of it and more. So mastermind sessions are a big exception to this. One of our friends who listens to a lot of these videos, Jeremy Gaming Curios, just recently went to a YouTube mastermind. He told me that where Mr. Beast was talking about scaling and like that kind of stuff. You like get in front of it. By the way, like the TwitchCon panels and stuff like that. Don't waste your freaking time. There are a few that could be helpful. Most of them are put on by agencies, brands, and people that don't know what they're talking about. My panels that I ran at South by Southwest, the keynotes that I did were consistently the most attended events because I actually know what I'm talking about, but I was a very rare exception to the rule. Like there are very few people that put on panels that know, and most of them are about dumb stuff that doesn't matter to you at all, like obscure aspects of game design or problems within the or cultural chasms in like the industry that just don't matter, right? Okay, so highly focused masterminds are freaking amazing. Personal development conventions are really amazing. So if you are able to go to a convention, pay a certain amount of money, which, by the way, in of itself is a indication that you might be making a good decision. Because if you're paying money to get access to something that is going to give you objective value, that's usually a good idea. So if you're going to a convention that says I'm going to charge you $500 to be here versus a TwitchCon or a YouTube like thing or like a whatever that's just gonna be like, hey, anybody can walk through this door. There's a cultural significance to that, and there's a sense about that. When everybody's paying money and they're all there to learn something, if you're with the right people and real people that have actually done it, so you want to be looking for experts who have actually done what they're talking about and are in the game, that you'll get your value for sure. I can't think of a single time, and I've been to a lot of them. I've been to like a lot of marketing conventions, CMO conventions, things like that. And I also vet a lot of them too, which is to say that like I might consider to go to one out of like 50 offers that I get, maybe 100 offers that I get. So it'll be very rare that I actually end up going to one because I have to make all the trades that I mentioned in this video. But if I do go to one, it has always been worth it. So there's some exceptions there. So look, at the end of the day, if you do go to a convention, go because you want to go. Go because you want to get motivated and you want to experience the vibe. Don't go because you want to meet a bunch of streamers. You're not going to be able to do that. Don't go because you want to network or you want to improve your business. And don't go under the auspice of like, I'm going to grind. I'm going to work. There's so much of that bullshit. Like I'm going to grind. I'm going to go like improve my business. I'm going to scale my business. You're not. You're going to scale your business by sitting in your chair and doing the fucking work. That's how you're going to scale your business, okay? That's the hard truth, right? Don't waste your time at a convention if you really want to be successful. Then actually outbound and ask people about and get some deals going, okay? All right, I hope this helps. Leave questions or comments in Mastermind chat or wherever. Thanks, everybody.